Hello, everyone, and welcome to this welcome and introduction video to Block Party number 197. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2024. I'm joined by Marco. How you doing there, Marco?
Good, Jamin.
Good. You excited for today's Block Party?
I'm excited for every day,
Good. Awesome. Me
and
too.
Block Party makes it double exciting.
That's it. Exactly. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Today we're going to mainly focus on snack bar collective human intelligence, collective human superintelligence, and also on the kind of emergent proposal for a media alliance among the myriad transformational groups and transformational conversations out there, which brings us to the topic of Snack Bar in earnest, even if your name is not Ernest. And so Snack Bar stands for Social Network of Actual Conversations. How do I move this thing out of the way? There we go. Okay. Um, and what is Snack Bar? Well, it is a network of conversations, of actual conversations. And by that we mean transformational conversations that you can actually participate in. And But Snack Bar is but one network of conversations, just one. And there are, and increasingly will be, many networks of conversations, hence the network of networks of conversations. Now, a week ago, I put together a video, which I'm including the link to in this emailing. It's about half an hour long introduction to Snack Bar, but there are some things in that that I didn't include, which I'll talk about now. And I'm also including the 1 hour video that we also took a peek at on Tuesday at the PFCP meeting about this media alliance. And so we'll be talking more about both the media alliance and about Snack Bar and how to communicate what Snack Bar is, because I believe that this network of networks of conversations should be central to the Media Alliance. In fact, it should be the flagship medium of the Media Alliance. But anyway, we'll get more on that. But let's now get back to the core of Snack Bar and something that I think was missing from the last presentation, the 30-minute presentation. And I'm going to use the analogy of the wood of a tree, right? Now, um, many people know, but some people don't know that all of the living cells of a tree are all on the thin outer layers of the tree. That the vast majority of the wood in a mature tree, anyway, is are dead cells. Now, those dead cells constitute perfectly strong structural wood, both for use by the tree and use if the tree is ever felled. Um, and But the analogy that I'm making here is that these outer layers, the cambium cell layer and the living phloem, however that's pronounced, those living cells are, for me, analogous to information that is actually being created right now versus um, the deadwood is previously stored information. In other words, it's not being created right now in the here and now. It was created whether 10 hours ago, 10 days ago, 10 years ago, or 10 centuries ago, or even 10 millennia ago. But it's old, you could call it deadwood information, maybe very valuable, much of it is. So as you can see here now, I've added like a timeline to that going from the center of the tree toward the left, the center of the tree being the beginning of recorded history, the outer layers of the tree being now, literally now, but since there's, like three main phases of living cells, that's why I've got three bands for now. But now is an instant. It's not like it's a period of time. It's an instant, literally right now. And then further to the left is the future. So again, the point I was making is that the vast majority of the content of the internet is dead wood. It's information that got recorded some time back, and it's not changing. It's static. And yet, so much of AI is based on this static material, static information from the past, this dead wood, right? It's basically scouring through that dead wood and finding whatever relevant bits and pieces of information are relevant to whatever the current inquiry is of whoever is operating Chat GTP, making a query, a search, whatever. So that's a very important point. So now consider that in the living portions of the tree, which are alive right now and are analogous to the right now moment of creation of new information, consider how new information is created. And there's basically two possibilities. One is an individual working alone, creating original content, whether doing scientific research or creative writing or whatever, but they're creating something new as an individual, right? And then the other way that new information can be created is in conversation, some folks collaborating together, co-creating new material, new information. Again, it could be research, it could be an exploratory conversation, it could be analysis, whatever. But the main point is they're doing it together. Now, going back to the tree, so all that is happening, the previous two slides, people working individually or people working together as teams in conversation and co-creation, all of that is happening in the now, in the outer layers of living cells of the tree. And at present, the vast majority of those efforts at creating new information, whether individually or in group, are happening in isolation from each other, right? And I've got a real problem with that because whereas we've got this big acceleration in artificial intelligence operating on the dead wood, the intelligence of the living wood, living growing cells of co-creation or individual creation of new information is kind of happening the way it's been happening for many years. It's not really taking advantage of the internet, right? So AI is spinning straw into gold from deadwood, but the living cells are kind of proceeding at their relatively glacial pace. Now, they're getting a boost from AI and from the rest of the internet. They're able to draw richly from the dead wood, but they're not able to draw richly from each other because they are isolated from each other, right? This guy is isolated from this group. This group is isolated from other parallel groups that are working on things. And that's exactly what Snack Bar and the network of networks of conversations seeks to transform. So we're going to be talking about all this. Marco, do you have any comments before I get off these slides? Okay, great. So anyway, thanks for looking at those slides. And then, the rest of the half-hour presentation that I made, which I'm linking to here, it's got good stuff. It just fails to make that point and that analogy about the dead wood versus the living wood. It just operates on the conversations that are so isolated from each other. So we seek to bring these conversations together in a network of networks of conversations. And there are many ways to bring all these together, but the primary way is by forming these networks and promoting these networks and making it all visible. And um, so for example, in the case of Snack Bar, we have this vision of being able to live stream all those conversations that want to be live streamed, right? In an interface, something like this, where you just see myriad, imagine scrolling down and seeing dozens and dozens of live stream conversations in the Snack Bar network, and hopefully other networks of conversations will pick up this standard as well. And so you've suddenly got access. You can peer into all these different conversations and sort of like try before you buy. And of course, the bigger picture is that, using the analogy that each conversation is like a flower and each of these pollinators is a person, and all these people then having all this access to all these transformational conversations can then cross-pollinate around and really turn it into this vast network of networks of conversations, which we show graphically and artistically with the image at the top of the screen there. And this constitutes a planetary brain. Now, combine that with all the cool stuff that's happening in the realm of the other technologies that are in the cauldron, to quoting from Nick Bostrom's great work, which I quoted from in the 30-minute video. Combine all that hyperconnectivity amongst the conversations in the living zone of the wood with all of the technologies and tools for accessing all the information in the deadwood zone of the wood, of the tree of knowledge, right? And wow, what amazing power we're going to have. And, this brings us to this quote from Nick Bostrom, highlighted below, and I covered this in more detail in my previous, but what of it seems at least conceivable that such a web-based cognitive system, super saturated with computer power as it currently is, and all of the resources needed for explosive growth, save for one crucial ingredient, could, when the final missing constituent is dropped into the cauldron, blaze up with superintelligence. And that's what we maintain that we are doing right now, right here, with promoting the network of networks, and Snack Bar specifically as kind of a model network of transformational conversations. The web and the network of networks of conversations, combined with all these other tools and technologies that we talk about in the 30-minute video, is about to blaze up as collective human superintelligence, and not a moment too soon. We need to go super intelligent now so that we can finally solve our most wicked problems, from an exponentially overheating planet to an exponentially dying biosphere and the sixth mass extinction or ninth mass extinction, depending on how you count the extinctions of history, and ending hunger and extreme poverty, getting the world to go plant-based, all these major challenges. We can solve all of them with collective human superintelligence and the hyperconnectivity of a network of networks of conversations. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about today and in future block parties. So if this is interesting to you, and how could it not be? This is the only game in town. Saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth is the only game in town. In a dying world, we need to stop the dying and start the healing and come together. And yes, we can. Any last comments on that?
No, it just all seems so obvious, and it's about time we just get her done.
All right. Well, let's do it. All right. Look forward to seeing you all. And thank you, Marco. And thanks to everyone for being a part of the block party. And we'll see you shortly. And we meet every Friday, and we get these conversations starting in earnest at 11 a.m. Pacific time. BJ starts with Food Healers at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And so join whenever you can. Come and go as you please, and bring a friend or two or 10. Love you all. See you soon. Thanks.